Okay, so the BIOS does have the Samsung drive recognized, but I thought my DVD-ROM was broken, so I had to make sure I had it plugged in properly and put in this Windows CD, and it booted from that DVD drive right there, because it said to install Windows, press any key to boot It said press any key to boot into the CD, and so now we're just waiting. Okay, I checked my BIOS options, and now I plugged the DVD-ROM in to see if it boots off of the DVD drive right there with Windows in it. And here we go. Press any key to boot from CD. Uh-oh. And there it is. So I can install Windows now. All right. On the video I watched on YouTube, they recommended that you unplug or disconnect all your other drives and peripherals except for your CD drive or whatever. So I didn't have anything to worry about that, because the only thing I got inside this computer is the Samsung drive. So I should be good to go. Everything should be smooth sailing when I try to install Windows, but we'll find out. Hey guys, my last post, I was going to try to install Windows 10, but the CD, I have a authentic Windows 10 installation CD. It kept getting stuck at the Windows logo. You can't see the spinning dots for how, when it's loading up, and it's just stuck on that boot logo. So I read a few things first, like to see if it was the memory and things like that. I removed one memory stick and just kept it, I took out one of the memory sticks and left one on there to see if that would work. It didn't work. And I went to the Gigabyte's website, downloaded their compatible memory sheet, and my memory right there is compatible. And so I booted up into Linux, because I am going to make this a dual boot computer. And look at this, Linux, no problems running or booting into it. And right now I'm on the boot CD, or a live CD was what Linux calls it, and I'm able to get into Linux just fine. So see, I clicked on Firefox, and it's going to be probably a little slow because it's running off the live CD instead of my SSD drive. But Linux booted up just fine. And from here, I can install PC Linux if I want to, but I don't want to do that yet. Install Linux if I don't have Windows installed yet, because what happens is if you install Windows, it'll just scrub the whole drive. It'll wipe out Linux and everything. It's not a considerate operating system where if you have Windows installed first and Linux sees that you have a Windows installation on one sector of your hard drive, Linux will ask you if you want to keep the Windows installation, and it can find free space, or it can erase the Windows installation. Windows doesn't give you that option. It'll just wipe the whole drive to be used for Windows. So you see, right now it's running on Linux, and I'm so tempted to just use Linux and install it and forget about Windows, but I have to, not saying that I do need to, but maybe I don't. But if you guys remembered, I got a free download for Destiny's 2 game, and that is only, and I have to get that off the GeForce Experience. I don't know if Linux has a GeForce Experience software. If Linux does have a GeForce Experience software, I'm probably just going to keep Linux and forget about Windows. But so far, I need to be able to redeem my Destiny's 2 game off of the GeForce Experience, and the GeForce Experience software is only in Windows. So I'm going to do more searching and try to figure out what's going on, why my installation CD just hangs or freezes on the Windows logo. But as far as everything else goes, Linux is a go. It's awesome. It's the reason why I prefer Linux over Windows. If you guys haven't seen my Linux videos, check them out in my channel, and I'll be back again to see if we can get this computer, my new build, running Windows. So I'm thinking of ditching Windows installation altogether and just install this thing on Linux. But the only thing is, a lot of the software for all of this RGB lighting, like your Gigabyte motherboard software, the Thermaltake software, the Zotac software and drivers for their fans and everything like that, you could only use in Windows. And then the other thing is the GeForce Experience software, it's only on Windows, and I have to be able to install the GeForce Experience software to be able to run or redeem my free Destiny 2 game. So I'm kind of stuck right now. Linux runs fine. I can install it if I want to. This is running off of the CD drive right now. It's called the live CD in Linux. And with it, when you run the live CD, the reason why you have a live CD is so you can make sure your whole system is compatible with the operating system. And then once you see the compatibility, or you know it's compatible, you just install it and you're off and running. But Windows is like this. It's like this for Windows. Linux installation and hardware compatibility, at least on my new X399 system, is much better. So that's what's going on for right now. Hopefully I can find out a fix to this Windows thing so I can get Windows 10 installed. Okay guys, so far, as you can see, I haven't been able to get Windows 10 onto my computer yet. Here is my Windows 10 Pro full version 64-bit CD. I paid, I think, almost $100 or $100 for this, over $100. I'm not going to buy another one. I went online, and it's been like how many hours now since I've been trying to search for stuff online and trying to find a solution. Still nothing. I also installed Linux, if you've seen my previous post, or I ran a Linux live CD, and the Linux live CD booted up and was ready to install with no issues. It's only this freaking thing right here, freaking Windows 10. I tried checking my memory. I took out one memory and only ran one memory, as far as like one memory stick, to see if that was the issue, because there are some people saying maybe you should just use one memory stick and see if that works on the new Threadripper X399 systems, but that didn't work. So what I'm going to do now is, inside here I was trying to look for my Windows 7 CD or DVD and I couldn't find it. I don't know where it is in my garage. Ever since I moved to this new place, I can't find shit. I can't find anything. I have a hard time looking for stuff. It took me like how long to find my some of my other stuff, like my camera and things like that. So long story short, I found Windows 10 though, or Windows XP. My Windows XP CD. It's an OEM CD. We're going to power up the computer. and we're gonna see if it'll at least try to install Windows XP. Now, if it can install Windows XP, would I want to keep it? No, because Windows XP is so old now. I don't even know it's still supported by Microsoft. I haven't checked. And why would I run Windows XP if I could run like Windows 7, which was I was going to get ready to use, but I can't find a CD, or Windows 10. Oh, man. Did my monitor turn off? Okay. So let's see if Windows XP, look at that. Even Windows XP will start. Here it is, Windows setup. Unspanking believable. Look at that. See? Setting up local files, loading files, whatever. Kernel debugger. So even Windows 10 will try to, even Windows XP will try to install. Just not this freaking thing right here. Okay guys, I'm back. So, check this out. Finally got Windows 10 installed after like almost like 6 hours, maybe 8. I found out that I took a little break and ate, but anyways, and then went back to it. All I had to do was update the BIOS, and then everything started working. I updated to the latest. I thought it already had the latest BIOS, and that was my stupid butt for thinking it did, because it said the BIOS, when I checked inside the BIOS, that the version F1 was dated September 2017, so I thought that would be the most latest BIOS, but I guess it wasn't. There, I went to Gigabyte's website because I was curious to see. I was like, well, let me check the BIOS, and sure enough, there were 2 newer versions on Gigabyte's website. So I downloaded both versions, updated to and I updated the BIOS to the first one, which was F2, and then I updated it again to F3. Although I probably could have just went straight to updating it to F3, but you know, you can never be too sure. So I updated the BIOS one BIOS step at a time, or one version at a time, one updated version at a time, and it seems to be going. So, and still installing, so hopefully everything will be running good now. Then I'm going to install Linux and we'll be good to go. Okay, so it asked me if I wanted to use Express settings, and I said yes. I could have customized it, but I'm in a hurry, so I'll customize it later. So I'm going to enter all this information down, and we'll get a good look at inside Windows 10 from my new computer, my new build. So went to the hi, we're setting things up for you, and this won't take long. Setting up your apps. Okay, so there it is. We are in business. So the first thing I'm going to have to do, I can already tell by looking at that recycle bin icon and these icons here on the taskbar, that it's not displaying at full 4K resolution with my graphics card. So I'm gonna update all my drivers, all my AMD drivers for AMD. What is that? What do they call their system? Zen system or something like that. I got to download everything, and also especially the NVIDIA driver, so I can get my what is that thing called? The NVIDIA GeForce Experience, so I can get my free game. All right, I guess everything's working. So that's it. Next thing we'll do is install Linux. Hey everyone. Okay, so now I am getting ready to install Linux Mint right there. I decided to mix it up from installing PC Linux to Linux Mint because I wanted to try it out since I haven't used Linux Mint in a long time. I've only been using a PC Linux OS, and Linux Mint is like the most popular out of all the operating systems. I don't know why it's not showing up real good on there, but anyways, the thing with Windows is I still have to like install all the chipset drivers, graphics drivers, and everything else, drivers upon drivers, where in Linux, especially like in Mint or PC Linux, once you start installing it, everything will be installed for you right off the bat. You don't have to look for drivers and everything like that. That's the one thing I really like about Linux too. And I don't have to worry about installing a antivirus or a security suite. You just enable the I think in Linux Mint, way back when, and Ubuntu, it was Firestarter firewall. So we'll see what it is this time. But enable the firewall and you're good to go. So it's starting to load up from the CD as a live CD. And then you get to install it. Well, letters disappeared. So here we are on the live Linux desktop. I don't know if you can see this, but Cinnamon is currently running without video hardware acceleration. But man, it is so small. I don't know if you guys saw my previous post when I booted into the PC Linux OS live CD, just to make sure nothing was wrong with my hardware and my memory was okay. But when I checked the desktop, it was running at its native 4K resolution, and probably so is this one. And that's even without the drivers. The PC Linux OS actually got Linux Mint beat on this one because it automatically installed the proper NVIDIA graphics drivers and set the proper resolution. Let's see if I know how to use this new desktop called Cinnamon. It's the Mint uses either Cinnamon or Mate desktop. So we're gonna go here to desktop settings. Let's see if we can fix the or check the resolution. Now, if you're thinking it might be running a little slow, but that's because it's running off of here. I haven't even installed it yet to the SSD drive. So let's see. I'm gonna pause this because I want to check the hardware settings. I don't think this is it. And I've never used Mate. So let me pause this and let's figure it out. Okay folks, so what I did was I went here to the menu. The Linux Mint system is almost like Windows. You go here to Preference, and from Preference you go to Display right there. When you click Display, that popped up right there. And see, it has it Samsung Electronics connected to HDMI 1. And yeah, it is. It's got it at the proper resolution of 4K 3840 by 2160. That is the beautiful thing about Linux. It figures things out right away. You don't need to install drivers. You don't need to install antivirus or anything like that. Everything is just good right off the bat and working. I didn't even have to update the BIOS for PC Linux OS on the previous post to show up running properly. Okay, so we got Linux Mint. We're gonna install it. So what I want to do is I'm gonna go to here, Linux Mint install, and click that and get ready to install, and then go back into Windows and install all my drivers. But that is it for today. I'm gonna call it a wrap, and then we'll see you again for another one once I have everything squared away with Windows. I'm gonna, after Linux Mint installs, I'm gonna go to the update center for Linux Mint and let it update once it gets installed. And so that is it for this video. But man, finally done. Alright guys, everybody take care, and we'll see you again for another video. Let's go in here.